Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, my friends. This is, of course, the one and only MRC show that never ends. And we are back with our Elite Tier Drivers Season 13. This one is of the MRC Championships. And we've already seen the Expert Tier do battle around the Chinese Grand Prix held here in the Jiading district in Shanghai. Now then, before we get to a very exciting and very wet qualifying session, it is time for me, and I'm pleased to introduce the man alongside me this evening. He is my teammate, of course, and we don't get sick of each other. Luckily, we get on really, really well, which is better than, well, most teammates. So, of course, it can only be one man. It is Mr. Andrew Maund. Good evening, sir.
And good evening to you, the Middlesbrough Maestro. How are you?
Pretty good, mate. Well, we're both a bit wiped after that one. Of course, our race just gone. But not bad results. We'll take it. We'll take some points and we'll move on to the next one. I don't even know where we are next, funny enough.
We are hope it's, well, a bit of pressure for you, Joni, for next week and Red Car Rambo, because we are going to be at the home of the Tifosi next week.
Ooh, okay. So happy days. Completely different circuit, of course, to this one. Look at the drivers already, Liverpool, and I think that was Alex Edric behind him on his outlap. And these guys, let's have a look at those tyres and just see what they're using. It's intermediate tyres at the minute, so it's not heavy rain. And, well, Jay Moore, who, and I think Loppy, they raced, of course, in the expert tier and reserved for us this evening. They are going to, well, regret it. I think they're not going to be enjoying these conditions. Of course, at the end of our race, we had rain coming down, but not enough for the intermediate tyres. It was still dry tyres, and a few drivers came a little bit of copper, didn't it, towards the end?
Yeah, there was a few that did take the risk for us, but this is pretty much intermediate. Yeah,
it certainly is. It is this time round, and of course, we don't know yet what's going to happen in terms of the race, so we're still a bit unsure. If it's going to be wet, of course, you would go with a full wet setup, but do you compromise a little bit? Inters, you don't have to go necessarily full wet.
No, but interesting you mentioned about the compromise here, because this is a track you can race, you can overtake it. So starting from near the back isn't a bad thing, because I'm fairly certain we've had drivers here who have come from 17th, 18th to come back 4th or 5th in real life races, so it's not out of the realms of possibility.
No, of course, and I think a few drivers in the expert tier did exactly that this evening, and I think you yourself, you were on for that as well, and unfortunately just came a little bit of copper with some of the conditions, and I saw a few of the other drivers as well did that and managed to get into the points, so it's going to be an interesting one to see what the drivers can do. But we're on board with Liverpool. We've got a lot of drivers out on lap. Oh, Liverpool up the hill, out of turn 6 through into turn 7. That was very, very slided well to hold it. Of course, these elite drivers, no assists whatsoever, so it's going to be very, very difficult for them to keep the braking and not to lock up. And again, the throttle is going to be just dancing and feathering the throttle to stop that rear from spinning up. And well, it's easy to go sideways, and once you go sideways, you generally can't catch it, and there is a wall waiting for you and a front wing grabber. Definitely. But look at this, you can't even go full throttle on the banking just yet until nearly the banking is finished for the long, long kilometre straight. So this is going to be a very, very difficult session.
I think Martin Brundle said once, in these sort of conditions, there's like an egg underneath the throttle pedal you don't want to break.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy. Yeah, you're right, I think he did. I think you said it a few times. Yeah, that's a good analogy, and it's exactly what the drivers are going to be feeling this evening. So good evening, everybody who's joining us in the chat. Good evening, Mandy. She's putting on Joni already a 141 for Chris Bailey, Liverpool a 142. Who else is going to be crossing the line? Joni a 141.6, so behind the leads man. And I wonder if he's going to be paying attention tonight, Chris. I'm actually surprised he's racing, funny enough.
No, I am too. We are. He's handling some pressure very well tonight.
He is. I mean, you know, of course, being a Leeds man, it's just about half time in what was in a kicky ball other sport that's out there that they're against the mighty Borough, but unfortunately Leeds are ahead near about half time. So
new pole sit up.
We have Risa 41.5 dead, so good lap from Reese. What can Kid Dynamite do on his first flying lap? Now, it says a lot to me that I wonder if the rain's either going to get heavier throughout the session, or that the drivers don't need the inters for the race, because we're getting them all out pretty much very, very quickly. Other than Ant, who I'm surprised hasn't put the soft tyres or the medium tyres on, because it is wet conditions. And then we've also got Stefan as well in the pits currently, but everyone else is out on track. And it makes some sense to say that, yeah, it might be a dry race for them. And I think some of the lap times would say so. And of course, it is slippery, as we've seen.
Yeah, I would think so. It's probably going to be a compromiser, but normally in these sort of conditions, you want to put about 7-8 laps of fuel in, just burn it off and just see where you can get, really.
Well, that's exactly that, because, I mean, it is heavy, this track, once you're doing a lap on the ERS, once you're doing a hot lap, so you can use about 70% of it, and not always that easy to recover it. So it's one that, yes, you might take a lap or two, but you're right, without those inters, you can do 3 or 4 laps on them, and they do seem to get better, and just as you feel where the grip is.
Yeah, it could just be changing lottery completely, especially with this sort of weather.
Yeah, exactly that, and you just get the confidence in conditions like this as Reese goes even quicker by 0.6 of a second on his second lap. So that's to prove exactly what we were saying, that, you know, you get that confidence, you know where the grip is now, you know where you can push, your tyres are in a better window than the Weber voice. Wow, lost the back end, but managed to stop it on track, so good save from him.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful though, Bearer Voice. I think there's a couple of cars coming around on laps.
Yeah, there is. Jay Moore's the next one, of course, reserved early on, and he is not going to be wanting this wet weather, but he'll have his eye in, I suppose, for it, just not with these tyres.
Yeah, he'll have a bit of practice, especially from the elites, I think there was only a few cars literally by the end of our race who were on intermediates, weren't there?
Yeah, I think a few tried it in there, and it just wasn't quite there for them, and they didn't catch up to the pack as quick as they would have liked. And I think a few of them even bailed back onto a set of dry tyres.
I think a lap or two, I think everyone would have made. I think if it came a lap or two earlier, I think everyone would have made the change. I think for ours.
Yeah, it wasn't nice towards the end, worn tyres, and I mean, it just wasn't fun. And a few people would agree with me with that one, I'm pretty sure.
I think we just needed the Bolero playing pretty much for a lot of people.
Oh, Chris Bailey's done a 360 outside of the hairpin. I don't know if he was showing off, but yeah, that's ruined his lap. So what can we Johnny do?
Slow at the hairpin as well. I think he's had a moment.
Johnny.
Oh, Dynamite's round as well early in the lap.
Oh, it is outside of turn 4, that is, because of course, well, very strange corner numbers once again. We will go on board with somebody for a reasonably fast lap very soon. What can Chatty Duck do on his next lap? Of course, he's in 7th, paddling over the line.
He should be used to it. He should be good in these sort of conditions.
He should really, shouldn't he? You would think so.
Well, being a dog.
Xavier in 8th. Oh, Lucid as well managed to stop it from going. It was stop that hitting the wall. Yeah, so a few drivers now have pitted, done about 2 flying laps, give or take, on their tyres. About halfway through the session, so time to strap on a new set of intermediate tyres, and they'll be good to go very, very soon. But this is one as well now. It looks like that rain's easing off slightly. Now, I'm not saying it's stopped, but it looks like it's eased off just a touch from what it was at the start of qualifying. So that the track is going to rubber up very, very quickly indeed. And you're kind of on the cusp here, I would think. It's just a bit heavier than we had in the expert tier.
Yeah. I wonder if some people are going to hold back and think maybe it might dry up and we might get some dry running, but...
Yeah, but I think you want to sort of be on track, don't you, to feel that rather than just do it by sight and look at other people. You don't always want to be the guinea pig, but in instances like this, I would kind of say that you sort of do, because you know where the field is. You can see exactly where the grip, feel where the grip is. You can see the line forming and know exactly when to push rather than where anyone else can do. And Seppi goes, Azujoni on his 4th lap has gone into 2nd, so that is an outstanding lap from Reese in the Aston Martin, the green machine.
So I already have one podium tonight. Can I have a second?
Let's hope so. All right,
although to be fair with Reese, I think maybe the new Aston Martin upgrade with the Sporter might not have been a bad idea this weekend.
Yeah, put the shovel on the front and he gives you a little bit extra downforce. I mean, if he's G-Star's out, that was at the exit of turn 3 as well. We've seen it catch a few drivers out in G-Star out of this session.
It's easily doable.
It is, in these conditions. Any corner's doable around here to lose the rear end. You've got to be so careful. And to be fair, even in the dry, it's easy just to get it slightly wrong and you either outbrake yourself very, very slightly, or you just can't get the car stopped into the hairpin like Jay Moore is now and nails it absolutely perfectly. But yeah, it's one of those tracks that's just so difficult to get right. Let's have a look. Here's Chris Bailey starting a lap. He is. We're going to go on board with the leads man as we go what would be a DRS zone into the ever-long, never-ending, ever-tightening turn 1, which turns now into turn 2. And then we got Kisses that goes into third gear. Now turn 3 down the hill into second gear. Upshifts nice and early to keep the traction down. Feathering the throttle of the car in as straight a line as possible through 4. And now takes the shorter run through the kink of turn 5 and the heavy braking. Still does about 100 metres, which is pretty good. Gets the car just about stopped and turned. And now the all-important drive up the hill from turn 6 into what would be flat out in the dry. Isn't. Has to change down to 5th gear. Does Chris in these very slippery and treacherous conditions. 4th gear and feathering the throttle. You can see on and off through 8 into 9. Easy to lose the rear out of turn 9 through turn 10. How is he coping with it? Use a bit of curve. Oh, a little bit of a slide, but he's okay with that one. And then into turn 11. He's up on his previous time, so he knows where the grip is. He's getting a bit quicker, and he's got a car ahead. And then through turn 12 there, Reese has moved out of the way nicely for him. But this is where you can lose the rear, feathering the throttle. Can't yet go full throttle. Use that exit curve. Don't want to use too much of it out of 13. The long kilometre straight where, again, that would be DRS. Not on this time. The Patronus there on the back of the Mercedes, and then heavy braking, just about where the start of the curb is, just before 100 metres through 14. There's a little kink there that is actually technically turn 15. Not really sure why, but it is. And then into turn 16, he's bailed on the lap.
Interesting. I wonder if he's going for his new... Although they are new tyres, so I'm wondering if he's going to recompose and go again.
I wonder if he's looking at the time. We can't see with 5 minutes left. I mean, we'd have had time to do a cool down lap and get back in. Maybe he just thought it wasn't quick enough to do anything about the guys ahead of him. So what can Dynamite do? Yeah, he could have got ahead of that. Joni now is leaving the pits. Reese is on a fast lap. But it's interesting to see, someone like Chris Bailey, that the gearing that he has to use and feathering the throttle and that in dry, how different it is to the gears and the throttle application that you would need in these slip. It's not even wet conditions. You know where the grip is when it's wet. When it's like this and it's just light drizzle, it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's a fair few drivers have excelled in real life in these sort of conditions, really. I'm not going to name any particular names. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Favourites, I believe, of our beloved leaders, Mr. Hills, Jenson Button, would relish these conditions a bit.
Yep, certainly would. So would a certain 7-time champ back in the day. Or 8-time champ, depends who you want to believe. I'm just seeing if I can get somebody in the YouTube chat to bite with that one.
Oh, the old Hamilton-Schumacher debate again.
Well, Hamilton 8, 7, 8, 8 really? Yeah.
Don't
Dynamite just beats Reese to go provisional pole of
break his headset again.
No, I know, that's a very good point. Everybody's up on his lap time, caught a good slide early on in the session. Do get involved in the YouTube chat, everybody. Do hit the like button, of course. Get us joined in. Mandy's already backing you, Joni, for the win in the Ferrari Bull.
Honestly.
Only if you ask Andrew nicely, he may. But he has had he's had his injections. He is safe.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but sanity-wise, I'm not sure about yet. But we push on.
Exactly that one. Exactly that one. So let's 2.5 minutes left. So Chris has gone back out on another set of inters. Didn't like that set. Maybe he's made a slight setup change that, of course, park firming conditions. Not much he can change, really. Maybe a little bit of front wing,
I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty much all. You can change brake bias a little bit, which you can actually do on the fly anyway. As everybody goes into 10th, good improvement from him, and that shows 2/10 how much he can jump in this field. Really, really close together. Saviour, what can he do? He's, wow, 4.5 up on his lap. This could be take him well inside the top 10 if he nails this final sector. He does. The car's a little bit too far down the straight ahead of him, so you can see the wheel tracks there, but it's not going to hamper him. Now then, what can he do? Can he spot his braking? Car moves out the way just in time, doesn't hamper Saviour. That could be either of them both on track of the Astons. With Chris down in 16th, what can Saviour do? Nails the last corner very nicely indeed. And now he powers towards the line, does a 1:41.70. It was mid-top 10s in 7th place with that one. It was indeed. So again, it's so tight. You've got 3:10 separating third from 7th. Reese and Dynamite kind of on their own at the moment, apart from Chatty Duck, who's got his feathers all ruffled. And that is very, very tight. Less than a 10th separating the top 3. That's ridiculous.
Someone's throwing the bread for the duck.
Certainly have. Now here's an interesting one. Ant's just improved and he's got 83% on his ERS. I think it's on because you can either have hot lap or off. That's some serious usage, or saving I should say. So that's a great lap for Ant.
Yeah, I wonder how confused he is at the moment. Anyway, he's put the inters on and it's the right the right tyres to be on.
I think he's confused.
Yeah, I think it is.
Sam, of course, our race winner. What a fantastic race you had, Sam. So congratulations to you, my friend. And
you were out.
Yeah, he says, surprised everyone was into his expert Tia showed us the best tyre in the wet. It's the dry tyres.
Chris goes quickest.
Wow. So you're right about that. And I was going to say a decent chunk. But it's a decent chunk compared to what we've seen, nearly, just under 300th of a second. And of course, this is going to be the final laps. Everyone now crossing the line. Wow! A 40.2.
Where's he pulled that out from?
Don't know. Saviour's improved once again. He's up into 7th. What about Reese? Reese is up on his time. This could be a front row start for the Aston man. What can he do to the final corner? Oh, it's a little bit wider than he wanted to. Maybe use a bit of the curb, but he still keeps it, and he goes into second. Chris is finished his lap now. What about Kid Dynamite? He's just finished through the first sector, in the middle of the second, but he hasn't got any ERS left. Yeah, Chris is done. Ant's beat him. Ant's into 4th. This is ridiculous. Bergen up into 12th as well. Great improvement from Bergen. Kid Dynamite's done. He's down in 6th. What about Seppi? He's not far behind him, but he's got a flashing car ahead of him. That is a McLaren. I think he may have backed off on that one. Let's have a look. LOL coming across the line. Can LOL improve? He goes to 8th. Dumas Hornet. He's down on his time, unfortunately. He stays 14th. Now Ever Voice is finished his lap time. Alex was the one who was slow, but he's now pitting. What about Calvin? Calvin's finished as well. So I think, ladies and gents, that is qualifying with, was it Mandy called him, Maxu Journey in the Ferrari Bull. I'm calling it. It's Bull.
The Ferrari Bull.
The prancing Bull.
Okay, who's played polymerization on the freaking Ferrari and the Red Bull?
Exactly. That's the one who Johnny takes pole by a great chunk, nearly 0.4 of a second from Reese in second. Chatty Duck with his webbed feet and got his feathers all ruffled is into third. Then the pair of the black triangles, not silver just yet. Maybe next game we'll get the silver arrows back, but they'll line up 4th and 5th with Kid Dynamite in 6th, Seppi in 7th, then LOL, Xavier and Kaiser Soze finishing out the top 10. Then Liverpool, Bergen, G-Star dropped, unfortunately. He lost it outside of turn 3 and 4. He is going to start 13th. Dumas Hornet in the other Aston Martin in 14th, with Era Voice in 15th. Alex Edric 16th. Then Calvin, Lopi, J Moore in the other AlphaTauri, and Red Car Rambo. We have got a Ferrari sandwich on the grid in China. We do. Now, we do have a 5-minute interval, of course, ladies and gents. Don't forget. People can go and just take a breather, grab a drink, grab another rum, grab a beer, whatever is your fancy.
Or if you're Chris, go check the score.
It's half-time. I've just checked. I think it's still half-time.
It is.
It is. So, that was a heck of a good qualifying session, that, because it was just the scrambling for grip, and then, as we mentioned early on, they're getting more confident as they use a fresh set of intermediate tyres. They know where the grip is, and a lot of them went quicker on that second or third flying lap.
Definitely. This is going to be an interesting one.
It is. We're going to have to see what the weather is going to be for this 28 laps, of course, around the Shanghai International Circuit. Now, let's do a little bit of info on the track while we have a bit of a break. It opened in June 2004, and the two complexes, which are meant to resemble snails. Yeah, turns 1 to 4, of course, that first long loop, and then turns 11 to 13, the banking circuit, is that second snail. But it was actually inspired from the Chinese letter Shang, and the first character in the name of the city Shanghai, which means above or ascend.
I did not know that.
Ah.
And who just says we're mindless entertainment?
Exactly, and who would have thought I would have beaten the one of our resident encyclopedias with some knowledge?
I'm not that encyclopedic.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I mean, it's pretty cloudy here, we can see here, which we're going to start the race at, which is very similar to what we had in Expert here. So it is going to be dry conditions. Cold. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, you and I both started on the hard tyres, and I think only 2 of the drivers on the grid did. Maybe a few others. But when you're in the pack, it's not the worst tyre to start on, because you can keep the heat in them. They don't overheat. And, the delta is roughly 7-8 tenths, maybe a little bit more between them and the medium tyres. But in the pack, when you're jostling for position, and you can just keep them. You can keep them in that window, and they come to their own. The mediums start to go off about lap 9. Lap 8, lap 9, the mediums started to go through that little phase of not giving complete and utter grip where you want it, very inconsistent. So that's where the hard tyres are a lot better.
Yeah, and I think resident Ferrari man is normally quite an advocate for the start on the hard tyre strategy, isn't he?
He does usually, yeah, that's very, very true. And I mean, it's going to be an interesting one to see what they do, and we still don't know the weather forecast yet to see what's going to happen in this race. I mean, it is, like we say, very cloudy, very overcast, but is it going to brighten up? Are we going to see that rain come back down again, and who's going to have that best setup? Because, pardon me, the field spread was quite large. There was a good few seconds separating the grid, at least 3 seconds. So that could indicate a few drivers a little bit further back as well. So it could indicate, it could indicate a wet setup for some, but it could also, some could have gone with a dry setup and be a little bit quicker, a little bit more consistent in dry conditions.
Yeah, it's a definite knife edge, this place, because it's quite difficult to set up here, because you've got all the twisty parts for turn 1, sector 1, and everything like that. You've got the fast S's, but you can't go too heavy on the wing, because you've got that back straight to worry about.
Yeah,
and it's a knife edge here.
And we have just been told by Goosey Gander, I'm going to call him Neville, Mr. Chatty Duck, has actually said it's a dry race. So if Ujoni and Reese and the top, let's say 5 or 6, have gone with a drier setup and not really compromised, that says a lot about their qualifying times, that they managed to pull those out of the bag and keep it pointing in the right direction.
It does.
And then it's interesting. I think maybe some people gambled further back and just couldn't really get to grips with the slippery conditions.
It's a difficult track to get, it's a difficult track to get grips with, even in the best of times.
Yeah, it is.
Better weather. It's not a favourite of mine.
No, it used to be for me. I mean, I always had a love-hate relationship with this place, and had a good few races and won one a few seasons ago in one of my championship seasons, and then we haven't been here ourselves for a few seasons, never mind the 5 years that Formula One has actually taken a hiatus from China due to all the COVID pandemics. And then tonight was okay. I mean, I struggled with setup for a while and eventually sort of came with one that we both used this evening. It kind of worked. It felt okay.
Yeah, I think it was just... I think my problem is still at the moment, I'm still getting used to... Obviously, with my first season being on no traction control, it's been a bit of a jump for me.
Exactly, it does take a little bit of getting used to, and like you say, you feather the throttle a little bit more than what you would think, and then you suddenly get confidence, and then the car's backwards or nose deep in a wall. So it's a fine balance. It does take exactly. We certainly have, yeah. So it's one of those that does take a bit of getting used to. But you mentioned earlier about Johnny is the man who likes to do the alternate strategies, and he certainly has. He's on the hard tyres. So is Reese alongside him. So that's going to be interesting. One through turn 1 to 4, that first kilometre. Then everyone on the mediums down to Bergen in 12th. Erevoice, Alex and Calvin on the hards, and only Jemo on the soft tyres. So that's an interesting set of strategies. We had, was it one, maybe two safety? Did we have one safety car and two VSCs? I think we had. I
believe we did, yeah. But it's interesting from Jay Moore. He's got no offence to him, as I say, being reserved obviously for this race. He's really got nothing to lose. He knows. To be fair, he knows what the tyres are like.
He does.
Obviously, having just done the expert, the elite here, so he could pull out some surprises here. I think I'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interesting one to see how the two Mercedes boys work together potentially in this one. And just as we're about to go lights out very, very soon, so has the old Yorkshire Derby. So I'm going to keep Chris informed of that one.
just when he's about to make an overtake.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think he has the stream on though, unfortunately. If he does, he's going to kill me.
Oh, he'll probably watch afterwards.
Yeah, probably will. But it's a matter of northern pride.
Oh, yeah.
Although it's still not as important as when we beat the Mackhams or the Geordies.
Sunderland and Newcastle, I believe.
Yeah, it certainly is. Certainly is.
Don't worry, we have our own one down here.
I think everywhere you go has a footballing rivalry somewhere, and we know for a fact in MRC the rivalries. We've got Reese up there with Ujoni, we've got Kid Dynamite, and we've got Saviour and Chris Bailey as a very friendly rivalry, very, very good rivalry as well. So
it's our own Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher.
It certainly is. So the final drivers, Red Car Rambo, lining up at the back of the grid. We've got a perfect view down the pit straight, so we'll be able to see the lights. And we have 28 laps coming for you, ladies and gentlemen. Full dry conditions for the elite team. We have 5 red lights, and we go racing very, very quick. The lights did not hold very long at all, and a very even start. Johnny gets an absolute rocket ship start. Ant's trying to go on the inside already of Reese into turn 1 and turn 2. And look at Ant, what a start he had on the medium tyres, and I think that is Dynamite as well. What a start from him. Chris Sarda got caught in the middle. There's a little bit of tapping with the Red Bull. That's Seppi further back, but Reese has got through. Unscathed, Joni is unscathed as well. Great launch from him, and fantastic start up 2. Dynamite as well up 2 spots. Chatty Duck, and oh, look at that. That's Seppi on the inside of Chris Bailey. Oh, just Chris saw him in the nick of time, left him enough room, and that's LRL as well. Back to his saviour just behind. But now Chris is going to have the inside line up the hill through turn 7. Seppi had to give way, and I think we were just about through. Jimo, what a start. He's up to 16th on those soft tyres. Red Caramba up 1 spot as well, and Loppy up 3, and G-Star and Bergen having a good little battle. He missed it, so he's lost another spot to Kid Dynamite. Really not what he needs, those hards, and he's going to want to get those hards, get the feel of them really early on and know exactly where the grip is, and he'll come into their own. But I tell you what, and all over the back of Ujoni using those mediums to full effect.
Ujoni has not broken away, and I think he's going to have to worry for Ant. He's going to try him at the hairpin, I think.
I think Ant just backed off slightly then. I just went on board with the...
he's been hit!
He got a hit from Kid Dynamite!
Oh no, it's the Lance Stroll.
It's the wrong car, it's an Alpha Tauri getting its own back.
Yeah, it is. That's Mercedes, both Aston and Mercedes are Mercedes powered anyway, so it's close
Well, fair
enough.
point. Oh, that's so unlucky for Ant. He's going to be livid with that one, but damage limitation, he's only in 7th. He hasn't gone that far down. He hasn't managed to spin it. He's kept it pointing in the right direction, so just waiting for those
He's been
timings.
hit again, I think, but the little tap from the Williams just coming out of turn... is it really about turn 3? I don't know.
Oh, turn 3, turn 4, it's all the same to me. To be fair, I used to keep calling it turn 2, so I forgot there was actually 4 corners in the space of, well, 2. I kept calling it. But all status quo now. Now, this is huge for Kid Dynamite to be up into second. Great first lap. I mean, of course, that little tap on Anton, I'll be surprised we don't see it in the stewards late on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joni, one thing he doesn't want to see someone on medium tyres behind him, and then the second worst thing it would be is Kid Dynamite.
Exactly that. Now, Reese is holding well. This is what Reese needs after that slow start and getting swamped a little bit by Ant. And then by Kid Dynamite, that little issue he had. He's on the hard tyres. This is exactly what he's going to need to be. He just wants to hold station with them. But look at this, Kid Dynamite. We're on board with the Aston Martin. Kid Dynamite's on the inside. No DRS to the end of this lap. Oh, Reese just gets the car stopped. He'll have had a tow and had to readjust his braking. Oh, it was. Is that going to allow Reese on the outside into the final corner? They're still side by side. They've gone side by side round it. What a move from Reese!
Wow. Sublime.
Wow, you could only do that if you're at the top of your class, and these two drivers certainly are. Gave each other such respect and room through there. That was definitely firm and fair. Just about enough room left from both drivers. And Reese had the momentum round the outside, and wow, what a move that is.
That was
hard. Yeah, it was. Battle of the hard tyres as well. So exactly, it was superb. It really was. Chris Bailey and Shatty Duck just behind that pairing. Couple of drivers locking up into the hairpin as that front inside right tyre just gets unloaded a little bit as the drivers start to turn in and try to trail brake. But there's not much field spread. The biggest gap is Ryan, who's up into 14th. He's had a fantastic opening couple of laps. So he's now got Floppy Loppy behind him, and that gap now to Dumbest Hornet that he's going to try to close up. And then Jermo across on the soft tyres. I found they were only good for 2 or 3 laps.
He's a passing saviour just before the DRS.
Yeah, but I don't know if we'll see who gets it now. But of course, this is it, the first time out we're going to get the DRS. Reese is a little bit far back, but he's going to have it. There's the rear wing open on the Aston Martin. That'll help him protect him from Mujoni behind, but he's far too far back to even think about making a move.
He's looking at it.
He was just pulling out a little bit, trying to make him think, see those arrows come apart on his screen, see him in his mirrors. Which, to be fair, I tried that with a few drivers this evening. It didn't work.
No, I think if there's a few people, you're not going to try and make flinch in this race, and Reese is going to be one of them.
Exactly that. To be fair, there's not really many of them that you could, in fairness. I tried it with Martin. I tried it with Martin Hills, and it just missed a single track, and it didn't work. I was a bit upset by that. I can't believe who else I tried it with. I'm not sure. Saviour's having a heck of a ding-dong battle further down with G-Star as they come out of turn 4. G-Star's got a little bit better run, but where's Saviour gone? There he is ahead just as they come into the braking. Is G-Star going to leave enough room? They're side by side. Dutch against the German. Oh, and then we've got Skazer Soze looking interested. The drive that G-Star got outside of turn 6 was fantastic. But Saviour's not giving this one up. He's trying to go around the outside of turn 8, and he's going to have the inside line. Has he got the grip? Has he got it just ahead? Can he run G-Star as he has? And now he's got the inside line again. A little bit compromised exit, but gets the move done. Skazer is still looking interested. That's allowed Dumbest Hornet. Ryan's caught up to this one as well. That's a heck of a battle from 10th down to, well, 16th, really. And look at this, Saviour just had, oh, big kick from Saviour, big kick through the banking, that's allowed. Hang on, that's Soze gone through. That's Dumbest Hornet gone through. Oh no, Ryan! Dirty trying to get a bit greedy on the throttle, and wow, those cars have just DRS wide open. This is going to be 3 wide into the braking zone. Who's going to be latest and bravest on the brakes? We've got G-Star, we've got Thomas Horner on the inside.
He's through.
Oh, wow. And Saviour's got Thomas Horner. He was so compromised at a tighter hairpin. He just couldn't get the power down, couldn't carry the speed. Saviour's gone on the outside of him. Ant's got back past Seppi as well.
I don't know. Two things. I don't know how they got that. They get that absurd amount of traction out of these corners, and that was not F1 racing down that back straight. That was Indy 500.
It really was. Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? Trying to catch the draft, as they say.
They were literally swapping paint.
Yeah, down the straightaway, which is the most stupid term in all of motor racing. It's just a straight. It goes straight. It's not a straightaway. It's not going away anywhere.
To be honest, this is the country that can't say aluminium.
Or titanium.
Anyhow, since we've just lost the American audience.
Yes, and J-Mo is racing it. Who is American?
Oops.
To be fair, we always have to insult somebody.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for the YouTube chat. Any other words that Americans can't say? Put them in the chat.
Wait, isn't that boss North American?
Who?
Isn't that team boss from North America?
Isn't he Canadian?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's not American. And if you call him that, he won't like that.
No, he'd be extremely angry.
He certainly will. God, this battle's really still going on. G-Star just keeps ahead of Kids, does it? Looks up, gets a big twitch outside there, but look, there's nose to tail. I really want to focus on that battle for a second, because Dynamite's slightly pulled out of the DRS range for Meese, but this battle as well.
Lirapel, they're going wheel to wheel straight through turn 1 as well. Oh, it's contact a little bit.
Oh, still wheel banging. Wow, how did Lirapel not spin that front tyre to rear tyre? Never ends well.
No, that was a bit Tokyo Drift in there.
It really was. Lirapel on a little bit of grass there as well, with the downhill inside that it is for turn 3. How he kept that in a straight line, I will never know.
No,
but let's have a look. No, but Johnny, now let's have a look at this battle with Reese. Now, they're on the hard tyres, don't forget, ladies and gents. They're going to be feeling...
Ooh, very big kick.
I knew you said they would be feeling quite nice, but maybe not. It depends on your pressures, but they're normally... Little bit. Oh, and 4-wheel drift. We had the helicopter shot through turn... Is that turn 12? I think it was. It was turn 11 for Johnny. 4-wheel drifting around there. And it is easy under brakes, Johnny, to lose the rear through that. The rear does like to kind of catch up. Lirapel and Seppi still doing battle further back outside the banking. I think that's somebody got round. That might be Seppi that's gone in the Red Bull. It was. Oh, he's got his teammate. Oh, had a heart attack.
Going to lose a lot of positions because everyone's going to pass him, still going at full speed.
Only 2 of them, luckily, but he had DRS as well. But look at this behind. He's got Thomas Horner, Saviour side by side. Oh, nearly got it wrong. There was contact. There's 3-way contact, 4-way contact. He tapped Casey Soze. Oh, the Saviour's had a tap, but he's gone. Oh, he's managed. But he's managed to reverse it, so he's okay just about. That I don't know who hit who and who tapped who, and wow, Saviour's going to be a bit sloppy. Loppy's gone in the pits as well. Jimmo's still going on those soft compound tyres, so he's doing really well with those at the moment.
Yeah, he's making those last really well.
He is, isn't he? So I don't know who hit who and who tapped who and who put the throttle down far too much. That was a bit difficult. Oh, Sergeant Uncle Sam, welcome back. I forgot about yourself. I'm glad to see you with us, my friend. It's been a little while. More than half can't say the N-word. Well, yeah, we know that one. That's very true. Actually, that's more the world, mate, in fairness. That's not America. But anywho, that's political. That's getting a bit moving slightly on. So we've got the 2 Mercedes boys, Chris, just biding his time here and doing what he needs to do. That gap at the front is just hovering about that 1.3, and that's going to slightly frustrate Reese, where he just wants to catch that slightly, even if he just gets that DRS to try to defend, because here comes Ujoni after he's had a few laps behind, and on the DRS gets the move done. Can he get the car stopped and turned just about? But he's going to try to switch back. Reese, can he? No, he can't.
No, it's not. Still suffering a bit from that traction, I think, going out that last corner. That
it is.
That hairpin going to the ultimate corner.
Yep, but he's going to get it down the short start finish straight into turn 1. And we have seen overtakes happen here, but Reese decides against it, not close enough. You kind of got to be side by side as you cross sort of the pit exit.
Yeah, you need a really good run going for turn 1.
Yeah, you certainly do. So,
he may try turn 4.
Yeah, he could do. Let's have a look. Is Johnny going to go defensive? Reese thinks better of it.
Yeah,
well, four-wheel lock-up as well for Johnny. Saving on the backstretch on his own after that. After that spin and front wing change, let's have a look at the tyres. So, Saviour's gone to the hard tyres now, so he'll go deep into this race. I don't know if he'll take them 20 laps. They won't feel very nice. I personally, I don't know about yourself, I felt them going off after about 13, 14 laps. I think I pitted early than I wanted to, and a lap earlier. And then promptly the safety car decided it was going to come out the lap after we came out the pits.
Which was annoying, but...
At least we had some spare tyres.
Yeah, speaking of not annoying, we got a little bit of news coming over from the Riverside, unfortunately.
Oh, don't say things like that.
It
was done. Yeah, it was going to happen. It was going to happen. Moving on.
See, Chris, we're being nice to you tonight.
Yep. Moving on. It was expected. To be fair, it was expected.
Yeah, this battle for second is heating up really nicely.
It is. Those medium tyres, though, are just going to start falling away a little bit more than those hards. They'll still feel quite consistent, the hard tyres. That gap come down just slightly. And I think if everyone's playing smart behind Ujoni, you're going to sort of want to use him to... If he's closing the gap to Dynamite, you're going to want to use him to not attack, but to close that gap down as dumb as Hornet and Source. They're still going out in the outreach to the top 10. That's a heck of a battle, and a few gaps forming further down, and just dropped off the back of Chris Bailey, who's on the back of this quartet.
Although, looking at these medium runners, I'm just keeping an eye on the track map a minute, because I think now that everyone's going to try and work out where they're going to probably feed in if they did have to pit now. There's a bit of a gap I can see developing a bit further on down, where I wonder if it's between.
I think it's Alex, isn't it?
No, it's LRL and G Star. I wonder if people are going to try and see about maybe if they can pit, if they can try and get out in that gap.
I think they're going to be too close to that. I think you're going to be looking about a 20-second loss. So if you look at the kind of the intervals, let's have a quick look at that gap to leader. You're going to sort of be looking around Seppi to Calvin, really, from 12 to 13. But look at this, Reese is trying to get Ujoni back down the DRS, and he does get it back. But Ujoni, he did, but Ujoni's going to get the better traction. Let's go on board with Chatty Tuck. No, Reese keeps it now, and you know they have closed that gap slightly to Kid. Just over a second now. And this is where the hard tyres. But I tell you what, Ujoni is right up the rear wing of the Aston. Can't make it though, and Chatty was sort of looking a little bit interested. But this is where they can just save that ERS that little bit more. You can use it so quickly around here, the ERS.
Oh yeah, but there's not really many big stopping points.
That's it, you can't really charge it. There's a couple of stopping points, but turn 1 and 2 is a gradual slowdown. You've got the heavy braking for turn 6 and the heavy braking for 11, and then the hairpin, which is turn 13, 14. But that's it. That's it. So yeah, I think you're going to be looking at, if you come in pit, if it's around a 20-second pit stop, these leaders are going to be coming out roughly around 13th, where Calvin is.
Yeah, which looking at it actually is about a 2-3 second gap, so that's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not, but of course, you want to try and extend. These mediums want to go another 3, maybe 4 laps at best, and the hards about another lap or 2 after that. Depends how they looked after them, and we know it's going to be a full dry race. We, of course, had that jeopardy of the potential rain coming down.
Yeah,
which
we had
sort
it
of
right in the last block, didn't we?
Yeah, for about the last 5 or 6 laps, started raining. Oh, Johnny's going to have another look. He's not this time. I'm just going to sit there and just bide his time. Let Reese burn some of his ERS. But it's allowing Chris Ant to come back into the mix as well.
Johnny's got to be careful, though, because he's got to...
what happened to... Oh, Liverpool spun. Liverpool spun out of the hairpin and lost her front wing.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit... That's got to be a repair job for him.
Yeah, so he's going to pit earlier, but he's on the medium, so it's a little bit earlier than he would have really wanted to do that. So that may not be nice. No, it won't at all. But then we've got, of course, this battle. It's never ending, is it? This G-Star Soze, Dumas Hornet and Seppi now are, of course, involved in it as well. So now LLL finds himself on his own, which is sort of, round here I find it's a bit of a hindrance. You're looking at the timings so much around here, especially if people are on different tyres to you.
Yeah, it puts you off quite a bit.
And then you're looking at those who may have pitted, and you're trying to second guess it, and you're looking at your tyre wear, your ERS usage, and trying to manage the gap, trying to close it or build a gap. This track is technically very difficult because you're always thinking, you're feathering the throttle, you're never fully confident around a place like this because it can bite so quickly and so easily.
Yeah, it's quite mental. It was quite mentally taxing for our race, wasn't it? We were both absolutely knackered after it.
Yep. Oh, look at this. Wow. Chatty Duck's getting involved with Reese. Johnny's made the move. Chatty Duck on the inside into the hairpin. Can he make the move done? The outer side line was a better for Reese. Got the traction down. Got the drive. Earlier on the throttle, had the wide line car in a straighter line and managed to hold it from Chatty Duck. But those mediums still working. And that gap's still 1.2 seconds to Kid Dynamite. So that's interesting.
SW in the Red Bull for P10. Just going down to the hairpin.
Yep, another one at part of that. Another little quartet going on.
Although I'm keeping an eye on the G-Star gap between him and the leaders at the moment, just in case, because that's where that pocket of air, that's where that pocket of clear track is at the moment. It's hovering around the 19 seconds, so I think everyone's going to be starting looking at that soon.
Yeah, if they've got somebody on board, they're watching this maybe in the background, listening to us. Of course, we try not to go on board with drivers so much because, of course, on these steering wheels, you see the ERS usage a lot more than you used to in previous iterations. So we try not to kind of go on board and show too much of that. If people have the race engineers, somebody in their ear helping them, just to play fair, that's all. We don't show favoritism or anything like that. We do occasionally show it, of course. I think Dynamite has made an error. I think he lost a bit of traction. He's lost half a second to a Joni. I know Joni now is he going to be within the DRS? Does the wing open? It does. He's not necessarily in striking distance, but he has got the DRS now.
It's got to be those tyres. It's got to be the tyres going off, I think.
Yep, it is. Look at the braking, how much he closed. Of course, a concertina effect, but the drive, Kid gets a little bit shaky on it, and those tyres, you're right, just not quite working. The turning for Joni was a lot sharper than it looked from Kid on board, where he doesn't seem to have the rears underneath him.
Yeah, Joni's got more life in those tyres, and Reese as well.
Yeah, it does. And that's where the hard tyres, they're going to start going off a bit. I found they were going off about now, but there was gaps to people who hadn't pitted around me that I was closing them down. I had loads more grip, so much more grip. Soze's decided he's had enough. But you do want to get those mediums another lap. Maybe we'll see the medium tyres in lap 13. I think that's about the optimum point that the game gives you in terms of strategy.
Yeah, it was. I think that was a lot of the cut-off point.
Yeah, I think so. 15 laps on the mediums, on the hard tyres will just about do it, but they don't really like it. We tried it and gave in.
They'll be touch and go, but again, we started on the hard tyres. We had the full tanks, didn't we?
Yeah, which Joni and Reese, of course, have had.
Though I think this is closer. I think Kid's going to be under threat from that Ferrari before the end of the back straight.
Yeah, that's right, on board with Reese in the Aston. The rear wings open on both cars. Joni is now planning to pull out to the inside line. Is he going to have it under brakes? What can Kid do in defence? Doesn't really defend it. He knows. I know Joni gets the move done. Reese is trying to look interested on exit. Can Kid just keep that exit going? Is Kid trying to look interested? Oh, Kid at the inside of the line. Had to brake a little bit harder. But now with Joni, those hard tyres, exactly as we called it, and now coming into their own, and they've dropped Chatty Duck a little bit, but here goes, and that's box, but wow, Reese on the inside, into turn one, there's the AlphaTauri, he makes a move, they've contact with a Joni! I think Reese was keeping the inside line. We were too busy looking backwards. Reese trying to keep the inside line, and Johnny taking the wide sweeping line. Didn't see him.
Charlie ducks in the wall.
Oh no, Neville's gone in the wall, but look at this. Reese is now taking the lead of this. Oh, got a big tank slapper under brakes. Is this going to allow Johnny to come back through? Up the hill, but no, Reese just about holds on.
This is helping Dynamite beautifully.
It's going to help, yeah, it will, just to not lose touch, and it's going to help Chris get back into that DRS range that he lost. Chatty Duck hit that wall, as you mentioned. Has he got damage?
Let's have a look. Damage on the car. No, the front wing looks fine.
Yeah, it could be some of that damage that you don't see, though, which is even worse.
Yeah.
But the tyres get dirty, the tyres get overheated, and then cool down a little bit, and you just lose all of that momentum and that grip and the consistency that you're used to after that spin. It knocks you quite badly. But Chris is falling away just a little bit from these front three, but it's not going to bother him. Johnny now with the DRS makes the move. Can Kid do anything about it? Can't do it this time around. Kid just sitting there
behind him. I think if I was Kid now, I'd probably box this lap. These two are going to be fighting for a few more laps.
He doesn't, though. He stays. But I think, Chris, what I found, that the undercut really, really is powerful around here. So, Chris, going to the hard tyres, that's going to be an interesting one now for him. And we're starting at 15. The hards will go nicely towards the end. Chris is going to be one to watch out for, because, of course, if Joni and Reese are going to go to the mediums, Kid Dynamite, of course, are going to go to the hard tyres. Let's have a look at those tyres as we're mentioning them.
Chris is going to come out behind G-Star and Dumbest Hornet, but he's going to have he always got some good. He's jumped his teammate.
He was just ahead of Ant before the pit stop. So yeah, Ant pitted that lap earlier, but but I think Ant may have had a battle with Calvin, looking at the gaps there. So a little bit of traffic for Ant has hampered him slightly. So yeah, you're right. He has actually gained a bit of time on the guy on his teammate. But then we've got Liverpool, who's pitted off. Of course, he had that spin and lost his front wing. And Loppy's gone on the soft tyres. He's done 8 laps on them, so I wonder what tyres he's going to use next. Ryan has just pitted. Yep, we have now once again got a Ferrari sandwich.
Yep.
Ryan on a hard. It certainly does. 18 cars, in fact. No retirements so far. Not even a VSC, nothing of the sort. But let's have a look back at this battle up ahead.
I don't think Reese used the DRS then.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I did not see the flap on that Aston Martin rear wing open.
No. I wonder if he's just playing a different... He's playing a different game. Kid's keeping on going.
He's channeling his Checo Perez in with these medium tyres. And Chatty Duck.
He certainly is. Will LLL pit now? Let's have a look further back. No, LLL stuck out. What about G-Star? Of course, he's been locked in that battle with Dumbest Hornet. Seppi, who's pitted, and Sose, who also pitted.
No.
None of them pitting. So, okay, that's an interesting one. But Chris is catching them very quickly. That gap was over 2 seconds. Now only a second, so the grips... Yeah, Chris is now going to be loving that fresh grip. We're going to get rid of the tyres now.
Can we speak to some of these elite guys afterwards and just to ask them how they get these tyres through these races? This is insanity.
Yeah, especially with the lockups, and they get a little bit... They like the tyres spinning up a little bit more, and for some reason find it gives them better traction. How on earth do they keep them? I know they use a lot lower pressures than most of us. I mean, I was quite low pressures.
Side. Sorry, didn't mean to jump over you there.
No, it's all good.
Reese right back alongside his journey again.
Yeah, I was looking at Chris Bailey, who may look to have a move on Dumbest Hornet. He's trying to switch back through the double left-hander. Oh, tried it, but Dumbest Hornet was in the way there. He didn't stop it. But now there's Reese now with the DRS. Retaking the lead from Mujoni, but we're watching this one with the Aston and the two now. Both Mercedes-Benz drivers taking a tighter line, the helicopter shot, perfect angles.
Journey, Dynamite pit.
Oh, I've always left the session. Connection issue for him, but Chris now with the DRS and his teammate. I think Dumbest Hornet has no answer for either of them. He doesn't, and breaks early too. Yeah, so now we can see the medium tyre runners are pitting, but so did Johnny as well. Interesting one. But we've got 12 laps left. Mediums will be fine. Now then, where
Dynamite's gone softs. And Shatty Duck has.
Wow.
That'll be very interesting.
But Ant and Chris have jumped them both.
Yeah,
so that
Chris
undercut, I mentioned how important. Yeah. No, Johnny will take half a lap to get him up to there. Now, Chris needs to get past G-Star extremely quickly because of this. With Johnny, is he going to try and go around the outside into the hairpin? G-Star sees him, leaves him room back. Wow. And G-Star just didn't have the confidence. Oh, there might have been a bit of contact with Johnny, but Johnny's going to have the drive up the hill. So does Ant as well. Kid Dynamite's there. It's side by side and side by side.
Insane.
Wow. And Johnny gets through. Kid Dynamite's got through as well, and Ant is the biggest loser. Couldn't get through. Couldn't find the way round. But Ant has now got past. He's got the grip on G-Star. He needed that so desperately to keep in touch with these. And in fairness, Chris needed them to be held up a little bit more. But now Johnny is just going to reel him in. Those medium tyres are going to have so much more traction, so much more grip through the long corners. But I tell you what, Kid Dynamite in the soft tyres. Oh, Chris may be a sitting duck. Just like his Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, he's going to be
look at this, it's 3 wide. Look at this, now it's still 2 wide. Kid on the inside. Is Johnny going to try this one? Oh, a little bit of touch on the front wing.
That is so impressive. We've got the 2 leaders are in.
It is, but where's Reese going to come out with? Is Dynamite going to retake the lead? Reese is out of his pit box. Is he going to get out of the pits in time? Where's Dynamite? There's the Aston Martin, but Dynamite's got it. Johnny's got it. Chris Brady got it as well. Reese side by side further back. Oh, he can't. But Chris on a hard tyre just kind of knows he's not going to have the overall grip to fight with these guys. And now we have 3 different compounds in the top 5 positions.
This is amazing.
Wow. And I tell you what, G-Star still hasn't pitted. He's definitely going to be using the softs towards the end. Of course, with it being wet, they've all got fresh sets of tyres.
Yeah, definitely. Which opens up this crazy strategies we've got now.
Exactly. Kid using them to full effect to try to break that 1 second window. Reese frustrated behind Johnny. And we mentioned earlier, we don't think they're a good race tyre. J Moo has obviously proven us wrong. Loppy currently has proven us wrong. He's done 11 laps on his.
Yeah. We've been wrong about the softs tonight.
I think we may have been. And the only person left to pit is G-Star. So let's get rid of all those. But look at this battle now. Reese on the soft, of course, is really going to want to get this done even more so. This isn't about playing games this time round. This is about using the softs, using those tyres as best as he possibly can to pull whatever gap he possibly can while they're still good, while they're fresh. And look at the gap he pulled, the traction difference outside of the hairpin. He pulled 4/10.
Yeah, it's 33's dead on for the Dynamite fastest lap.
G-Star finally pits. Surely he'll put a set of soft tyres on towards the end. 9 more racing laps to go. But it's not over yet. So Chris has fallen away slightly. He's now there with his teammate. Just because of those hard tyres, I think, because Chris had a lot of pace, didn't he, when they were fresh, and they'll still feel okay to him. He'll know where the grip is on them, but this is still very, very solid for both the Mercedes boys.
Yeah, they'll be getting some really good points to this one.
Yep, they certainly will, with currently only 1 Ferrari, 1 Aston Martin and 1 AlphaTauri in the points as well. Both Alpines, but a little bit further back, of course, 6th and 9th, 1 Williams and 1 Haas and 1 Alfa Romeo, as well as Bergen's found himself in the points, having a nice little battle with Seppi.
Quite a smorgasbord of different cars we've got in the top 10, which is nice to see.
It is, yeah. Good little battles further down. We've got Stefan and Liverpool resuming battle from earlier on. We've got Bergen with Seppi and Dumas Hornet and Floppy Loppy behind him.
And Reese Kid Dynamite fighting again as well.
And where on earth did Reese come from to take that? I wasn't even looking at that gap. I'm not going to lie, wasn't looking at the gap.
I just went to it and I just saw him just right up behind the gearbox of the AlphaTauri and just went down the start finish straight.
Using him perfectly, isn't he?
Yeah. Wow. Shaved 3/10 off of Kid's fastest lap. Done this to absolute perfection as Reese.
He has so far, hasn't he? He's
The flag.
in sector 3. That is, I think that might be.
It's Bergen.
Oh, it is. But that's a long way down. I wonder, he was fighting. Who was he fighting with again? He's got damage to his front wing and his end plate. I wonder who he's fighting with, because that's a strange one.
Yeah, you don't really see many cars going off there.
I wonder if he got. Yeah, I wonder if he got squeezed. I'm trying to work out who he was fighting with, but I think he may have got squeezed. He's going to have to pit. He does. The Xavier Redcar Rambo, 17th-18th. Xavier not been a good one for him after that early spin. Just with no virtual safety cars, no safety cars as yet. We have to say as yet, for fairness.
G-Star's made his pit stop as well. He's taking the soft tyres now, at least.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's got Calvin and Loppy for company. We want to close that gap to step in to his teammate and get back inside the top 10. Our voice is retired from the session. Where's that? That's in the pits. Our voice left it, but he did have a connection issue early on.
It's a shame.
It is. So I wonder if it was glitching for him. I'm sure we'll see it and find out what the cause was for that. But I wonder if the Mercedes boy is just holding station at the moment. But they have got an Alpine now for company on faster tyres.
Yeah, Chassis Duck's going to be quite a little flying Toto Wolff's ointments in this one.
Yeah, he's going to try to, isn't he?
He is. Journey, he's still within 2 seconds of the front two. He's just got to wait and see if these softs will drop off a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because they are great for a couple of laps, but then they do drop off, and it's going to be interesting to see if Chris can do anything about it. But then Ujoni's on the mediums. He's going to be a bit more consistent towards the end of this race, and if he can just keep... I mean, he's outside of the DRS at the moment, but if he can just keep close enough, he has a chance of pulling this in with the last couple of laps.
I think so. I think so, definitely. It's... Especially with Dynamite, as his tyres are a lap older than Reese's.
Yeah, that's it as well, of course. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? But to be fair, I'm not going to give... Well, I am going to give the game away. And we saw a little glitch earlier, but Ujoni... Liverpool's out. Liverpool's out. We've got a virtual safety car. Not a full. But Ujoni nearly had full ERS. Yeah, I wonder, because they've got a bit of a gap. Ujoni, the top three have got a gap. No, they don't. None of them pit. They had a gap to probably where Stefan is, because of the gap that Chris Bailey had at the time.
Chris is coming in.
Off the hard tyres. I mean, he sees the gap to Stefan and then to Soze, so he's going to lose a few, but Bergen has decided he's making a new China track.
Yeah, he's trying to outdesign Hernan Tilke.
He certainly is, and I don't know where Bergen is. He's coming in the pits, has Bergen. I don't know if he's got damage again. No, he's retired in the pits. Oh dear.
That's a shame.
But I tell you who has also pitted. Kesa Soze's pitted. That's helped Chris, because he's not going to lose too many positions now under this virtual safety car. Soze off the hard tyres.
It's whether Chris can catch back up to him, though.
Well, he's on the
6
softs.
laps.
Yeah, he's on the softs, though. I mean, you can catch a good 2 seconds a lap. You can get back up to probably Chatty Duck area. Maybe, if he's good, depends. But DRS, there we go. We've gone green. Anyone who's just pitted now? G-Star's pitted. He's lost out massively from that one.
Yeah, he has. Not been his best of races, but...
Liverpool's already said sorry for the VSC. He's obviously really upset from what had happened to him. He was up there early on and just unfortunately lost that front wing and just been a battle back all race long. But we'll keep an eye on that Chris Bailey gap, 10.4 seconds at the moment. See what he can do. But Chatty Duck now had the DRS and did not have the protection afforded this time around from his teammate to defend, but Chatty Duck, those soft tyres working nicely for him, and now he's back up into fourth. Large gap ahead to Ujoni, but now this is where, I mean, that virtual, you do slow down a little bit, don't you, of course?
Yeah.
But it's going to save the tyres a tiny touch, but not a huge amount. And I found down here, because of the nature of the corners, the tyre delta really jumps. I think he caught our multi-champ Jay Sarge out as well. He got a drive through.
Yeah, he did.
But let's have a look at this Ant battle. He's on. Well, Chris has already taken a second out of LRL already this lap. 10.309 seconds, that gap. Don't forget, folks, hit the like button. Do get involved. Put your predictions in. 5 more racing laps to go, and your predictions for the race winner. Is it going to be Reese Skid Dynamite on the soft tyres, or is it going to be Johnny on the mediums? Is he going to come into his own and those tyres come better for him? Put your predictions in the chat, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're not already subscribed. Ring the bell. 531, I think it was, I looked earlier. Subscribers to MRC, which is fantastic. We love your support. Please do share the links, share the races on all your Facebooks, Bebos, MySpaces, and whatever else is out there.
Twitter, X, whatever it wants to be called this week.
Yeah, exactly. Little change by next week. And about another 5,000 people have been banned.
Yeah, I think it'll be called Z next week, or T.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a few people in here who like the Twitter and like to twit.
Can't say I ever got on with it.
No, I'm not a fan of it. Never used it. I think I had it briefly. I probably still have it, but I don't know. Not a clue. I've only just worked out how to use LinkedIn. we're not going to conform is what we're doing. We're standing up and not conforming. We're standing up with creaks and groans and sit down with sighs. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with the ravages of time.
It certainly does, and to be fair, as long as I've got a rum in hand, I don't mind. I'll cope.
Hey, you see why you always get along with Jack Sparrow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just keeping an eye with Dance and Chatty Duck at the minute. Chatty's not dropped Dance at all.
No, we're all watching these because we've sort of got a little bit bored of the top few, so we'll go back to the top 3. But that gap, that's just still hovering. Johnny's still just outside of the DRS. Kid's still in it. And was using his overtake button. I wonder if it's got stuck or we're seeing that glitch a little bit again. Because I saw earlier where someone was showing on in qualifying on the telemetry that they had 100%. On their wheel they had 64%.
Please fix this off for next game, please, Cody's.
Oh, there's many things to fix. Well, to be fair, speaking of Cody's, there was I don't think you've seen it yet. There was a new video that was released, like a sort of, I can't remember what they call it, deep dive or first deep dive into the new game of a few testers. And the way that you set the car up, they're saying that the suspension and the aero is more accurate than it's ever been. And the dirty air behind the car that let's say we're following who Joni and Kid Dynamite here, who Joni is now closing in. Speak of the devil, but that makes a difference to how the tyres wear and they keep the heat in them. In the wet, if you go offline down the straight to cool the tyres, it makes a difference. And everything like that. I think they've used CFD technology to look at the airflow and aerodynamics and incorporated that into the game, apparently. So they have really, really gone mega onto how the cars are set up and to how that they can react, for example, to changing track conditions and changing weather conditions, and of course, if you're following another car closely as well.
Definitely. See, Cody's, you can still make very good racing games.
I mean, we haven't said about the glitches yet in lobbies and things, which is the main part. I mean, that'll still be there. We just know it is. But they've also incorporated the new engine braking, which is a way to charge your ERS levels. And apparently they're bringing back, of course, at the moment you can't change your ERS during the race. It's set. Whereas now they're bringing it back to use hot lap, to use the overtake button. Well, more than just an overtake. You can turn it off, turn it on to medium and everything else that we used to have, and use it a bit more strategically in engine modes than we've ever had before, which is fantastic to look at. A really feature that I really enjoyed previously, so that's going to be a good one to bring that back. And it's interesting that they mentioned engine braking, and we are in China. And I think over the weekend, Lando Norris had a radio message about his engine braking, and he turned around and just said, "No, thanks."
It's an interesting thing I've started to pick up anyway, because I couldn't really do it when I was an auto gear user for quite a bit, because I'd always had the problems I was always too nervous about taking a lot of the assists off at the games, but I've started being able to implement that a little bit more now, especially moving over to the manual gears.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be. I think if they incorporate them and get these things right in the new game, it's going to be a fantastic game to play on and be with. If you played the beta, everybody, if you was in the chat, all 20 of you, don't forget to hit the like button as well. I want to see. Actually, I need to refresh this. It doesn't show. So we have got only 3 people. Come on, folks. We've got 19 of you. Hit the double figure mark. Come on, I want to see at least 10 likes by the end of this stream. If you're enjoying the racing, and get involved if you played the beta, if you're enjoying the race as well. I want to see who you want to see in the top step, because Ujoni, those tyres are still working well and the softs are falling away. Ujoni's absolutely on a charge, and right under the rear wing of Kid Dynamite as they go into turn 1. 2 more racing laps left. We're out of safety car territory, and I tell you one thing, Johnny's on the inside through turn 2, is he going to have the outside line through turn 3, he's going to have the traction, just about leaves enough room for Kid Dynamite. There he is on the inside, as Kid got the traction, he hasn't got the drive. They're still side by side through turn 5, and then who's going to be latest and bravest of the brakes? Johnny breaks. There's Kid Dynamite on the outside, has to give way. Doesn't have it. Johnny out into second.
Yeah, Reese isn't going to be happy to see that.
No, that's going to worry him a little bit now, especially with how quickly and the way that Ujoni passed in it through side by side through turn 4, turn 5, and then passed him into the braking of turn 6. So that's going to be one that Reese is going to really look at now. Ujoni absolutely on a charge. Chris has closed that gap rapidly. Chris is only 1.2 seconds off the back of LRL. We wondered if he could catch, and he has. But you mentioned earlier, Chatty Duck wasn't dropping Ant, and he still hasn't. And he's on the softs as well, so are they going to start fading? Are they going to start going off, and Ant going to have a chance to snatch that 4th position back once again? But Chris absolutely flying as well. He's in DRS now then. One more lap after this one. Who is going to take the victory? Oh, sideways action from Reese doing a Fernando Alonso. Dynamite, I think, has checked out. He hasn't got the grip. He cannot keep with these guys at the moment. Ujoni's the one. Man on a mission, has got the grip. He's just sat there for long enough, looking after his tyres a little bit more. So well, and he's very, very close. Chris Bailey very, very close as well. Both Mercedes drivers fighting with a Williams and an Alpine respectively. So are we going to see a grandstand finish for the win? And then what we're going to see from and for 4th and for 6th as well. Could be good points for the Mercedes boys.
It's under 4/10 the gap.
Let's have a look on board. Let's have a look at the grip level as well. That's Aston sliding that little bit more as he's trying to get on the power. This is where it's quite telling, though, if he can get the car turned and he takes a different line because of the grip.
This is going to be Ujoni's last chance.
It is 3 and a bit tenths. He's going to be using every little bit of his ERS. He scores defensive, tries to break the toe. He's allowed to do that. That's not a problem at all. But here comes Ujoni. He's trying to go defensive, trying to throw the dummy as he's going to go on the inside, throw the dummy Ujoni into the second final corner, and he gets the move done. Has he got the traction out? Reese is going to try and fight it back and can't. Ujoni into the hairpin on the final lap. 2 corners from the end. Ujoni takes the win. Reese, heartbreak for Reese. He has, and Chris has also done the same to LRL. So Kid Dynamite rounds out the podium places and fought through to 4th. Great race from him, and Chatty Duck in 5th. Chris with a fight back took that pit stop that he obviously didn't like the hard tyres, has recovered a heck of a gap to finish in 6th. FN, good race from him in 7th. Dumbest Hornet, where is Dumbest Hornet coming through the hairpin now? He's had a fantastic race. He's got no front wing. And Seppi's
really slow.
I wonder if he's run out of fuel, Seppi, because we've had 0 safety cars apart from that virtual. I wonder if he's run out of fuel. He takes 8th. Calvin takes 9th. Soze in 10th. I think Seppi did. He ran out of fuel. He's crawling towards the line. Soze takes the final point scoring. Oh, Seppi takes 11th just from Alex Edric in 12th. Then G-Star, he was battling early on the outer reaches, and the way his pit strategy just didn't quite work for him, unfortunately. Loppy comes across in 14th. 2-stopper for him. And then Ryan was battling as well early on and had a spin, then got JMO at 2 races this evening. Good showing from him, and then Saviour will cross the line in 17th.
I've just seen the chat and someone has been very cheeky.
I can't see that. Well, we're both about the fact we're showing our age.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But Fabian's right. What a move it was from Johnny. Hopefully you'll be back next week, Fabian, without your connection issues. But what a finale we have just witnessed at the end of this Elite Tier race. Wow. Johnny left it late, but he made it count.
Definitely made it count, and definitely.
Heartbreak, of course, for Reese. What a great battle the three of them had. Chris couldn't keep up with them, unfortunately. He had to pit, but still solid points for the Mercedes duo. And wow, what a race. What some fantastic overtakes as well.
Definitely. It's proved again that it might not be one of the favourite tracks, but you can certainly race here pretty well.
You certainly can. And you mentioned earlier that you can overtake on this track. I mean, we saw a few down into turn 6 hairpin and then into the final hairpin as well. So even the side-by-side of Joni Reese, of course, through the final left-hander, that was fantastic racing. But before Stuart inquires, before the timer goes off, let's run you through the preliminary results. Joni takes the win on track from Reese. Then Kid Dynamite rounds out the podium. Anthony Mercedes, great result for him in 4th. Then Chatty Duck, Chris Bailey, LOL, Dumbest Hornet, Calvin, and Soze round out the top 10. Then we have Seppi, Alex, G-Star, Lopi, Red Cow Rambo, JMO, and Saviour are the finish. Then we have Leverpel, Bergen, and Error Voice did not finish.
Unfortunate for him.
It really was. But who, Mr. Mond, is going to be your tip for driver of the day this evening?
It's probably going to be a boring choice. It's probably going to be a predictable choice. But I can't look past the Ferrari Manu Joni tonight. Yeah,
pretty much. I think you're near enough on that one. I think I'm struggling. I'm not going to lie. I'm really, really struggling. I'm not going to give it to Chris because Leeds have just beaten Middlesbrough. So I can't give it to him. In fairness, his pit strategy did really well for him and had a great race. I can't separate the top 3, but I'm also looking further back to Dumbest Hornet. Started, I think it was 14th, finished 8th. Calvin in the points from 17th as well, so fantastic drives from them to come through the field. Of course, we're only that one virtual safety car and nothing else. So I've just got to give all those drivers a mention, I think, in fairness. It's difficult to pick one single-handedly from that. Yeah, so that's where I think I'm going with that one.
No worries, I can applaud that.
Well, thank you everybody for watching and taking part. If you do like what you've seen, if you enjoy that, especially that last 2-lap action, please do hit the like button and give us a follow and ring the bell, and we'll go live on Wednesday evening where we'll see the Comp Tier followed by Sport Tier race around this Shanghai circuit. And then it's just all that's left to say is thank you, Mr. Moan, for joining me once again.
No worries, it's a pleasure to be in the comms box with yourself. It's a pleasure to have us here again.
Certainly is, as always, my friend, as always. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for taking part, and we will see you very, very soon. Good night.